Good evening and welcome to Sunset News this Friday evening. As always, we bring you news, community stories, economics, weather, and sports. I am Glenora Shipura. In the news tonight, a group of fishermen has dragged to court Icelandic fishing company Asia Investment, owned by Icelandic company Samherji, its director Egil Helgi Arnason, and Arctic Nem Fishing for failing to pay their arbitral award of $1.8 million Namibian. Arnason and 3 others are facing extradition from Namibia to stand trial in the fish rot matter and have been charged for his work for Asia Holding, and these charges include breaking laws on organized crime, money laundering, and tax evasion. According to court papers, the 15 fishermen were employed in various capacities by Arctic Nem until December 2018 and were unfairly dismissed. They subsequently won a labor dispute in June 2021 and an award of $1,825,884 Namibian, along with a 20% per annum interest calculated from the arbitral award date until full payment. However, in a new court application, they accused the Icelanders of having failed to pay the award and of continuously conducting business with Arctic Nem, as well as of unlawfully transferring substantial amounts of Arctic Nem's funds out of Namibia. As part of the MTC Tech Innovation Bazaar 2023, the United Nations Development Programme Namibia Accelerator Lab has launched an innovative challenge with a special focus on data-driven approaches to create a digital twin poised to enhance the sustainability, infrastructure, and overall quality of life in Windhoek. Nawa Likando, head of digital transformation and innovation for MTC, said the challenge is designed to unite digital enthusiasts from academia, startups, data science campuses, innovation managers, and digital professionals to develop innovative solutions for urban planning and management. The event seeks to bring together data enthusiasts, developers, designers, and urban planners to collect and leverage various data types to create innovative solutions, contributing to the concept of a digital twin for the city of Windhoek. Now, the challenge offers innovators genuine opportunity to make a tangible impact by promoting digital inclusivity and sustainability, he said. This collaborative effort between UNDP ICE Tech Hub and MTC NAST High Tech Transfer Plaza Select underscores the commitment of all organizations to harness the power of technology for the greater good, and together they aim to inspire, educate, and engage a diverse range of stakeholders in confronting the challenges of the digital age head-on. Now, in our next story, the Ministry of Finance and Public Enterprises Deputy Minister Maureen Hindambwede says the much-touted establishment of the Public Enterprises Holding, an entity sought to administer all state-owned enterprises, will not solve the dilemma of corruption and mismanagement perpetuated at some institutions. She said the planned entity will not be able to turn around the fortunes of already struggling entities currently governed by boards of directors. Hindambwede proposes that governance structures in public enterprises should be strengthened to avoid low performance and incidences of corruption. The Deputy Minister's remarks come after a consultation tender for the mooted Public Enterprises Holdings closed on the 8th of September. The establishment of the Public Enterprise Holding was the brainchild of Leon Hoste, the former Minister of Public Enterprise Ministry, which has since now been absorbed as a department in the Ministry of Finance. In 2021, the idea was recommended by the high-level panel on the Namibian economy and endorsed by the cabinet as one of the approved recommendations. The plan, according to Joste, is based on the Singapore and Malaysia model, where a central holding company becomes the owner of all commercial public enterprises and reports to the Minister of Finance in line with the provisions of the State Finance Act. Now, moving over to our story of the day segment. Over the next 5 years, more than 1,000 kilometers of roads in the reuse Etosha National Park will be renovated. We'll get into this story after the break.
Win a double trolley dash in our birthday promo while saving on these. 10 kg top score for $112.99. 2-liter original Coca-Cola for only $18.99. 1.5 kg real good mixed chicken for just $64.99. 750-gram Nola mayonnaise at $28.99. And 700 ml all gold tomato sauce also only $28.99. See the details of our incredible double trolley dash competition at woermanbrock.com.
Now, over the next 5 years, more than 1,000 kilometers of roads in the reused Etosha National Park, about 24,000 kilometers squared, will be renovated to bring them up to the quality level of South Africa's famous Kruger National Park, according to the Executive Director for the Ministry of the Environment, Forestry and Tourism, Theophilus Ngihitilia. Let's take a look.
Between the Road Fund Administration and the Ministry of Environment, Forestry and Tourism to specifically support the maintenance and the upgrade of some sections of roads or main sections of the roads within the Etosha National Park. The RFA fully supports the tourism sector, being a third contributor, if I'm not mistaken, to the GDP of this country. So as a responsible citizen, we felt that we, as an organization, we need to support the national agenda of supporting tourism activity in the country by ensuring that our tourists drive on well-maintained roads. I think at a high level, the RFA and certainly the government has been investing a lot of resources over the past years on what we call tourism roads that cut across the whole country. I remember in 2019, through the Road Authority, we supported a expansion or rehabilitation and upgrade of a smaller section, but very important, the Sestrim Road, which has been a problematic section as you intersect going into the Sossusvlei Park. So we have supported that upgrade to low volume seal with an investment of over 38 million. So that road is a key catalyst for tourism access to our iconic Sossusvlei.
Now moving over to community news, NVA wants reckless drivers' licenses revoked. We expand on this after the break. Motor Vehicle Accident Fund Chief Executive Officer Rosalia Martins-Hausiku explains the aim of the 4th Women in Road Safety Conference under the theme Women Empowering Communities for Safer Roads. The two-day event started this morning at Oshakati in the Oshana region. Let's take a look.
We recognize the vital role of women in road safety and resolve to encourage the adoption of women in road safety initiatives, leveraging on SADC inclusivity such as TKC. We have here MA Fund Botswana present this morning, and we can really forge and enter other multilateral efforts within SADC. Moreover, we aim to utilize our education platforms to urge women to use their voices and influence to save lives within our families and amongst all the road users. There is a need to expand on this resolution going forward as we consolidate more platforms for women, especially in our rural communities, to address road safety challenges around their local environment. The Women in Road Safety Forum will spearhead this initiative. I must say, As much as my name was mentioned, Hilene's name was mentioned, this initiative is growing. Now we have a whole Women in Road Safety Forum that's chaired by my sister. She'll come later on. And we are growing this. And the reason why some corporates have been invited while you are here this morning, we want this in the workplaces. As you are.
The construction sector in Namibia grew by a staggering 35.9% in the past quarter. We expand on this shortly. Now, the construction sector in Namibia grew by a staggering 35.9% in the past quarter, the biggest contraction since the first quarter of 2017. The sector's contribution to the gross domestic product, or GDP, fell to 0.7%, the first time the figure dipped below 1% on the database of the Namibia Statistics Agency going back to 2013. Now, real value added by construction in the past quarter amounted to 291 million Namibian dollars, a massive drop from the $1 billion Namibian dollars and more recorded from 2013 to 2016. The Construction Industries Federation and the Metal and Allied Namibian Workers Union recently urged President Hage Geingob to cancel and re-advertise all projects currently excluding local contractors. The local contractors are mainly excluded due to steep financial pre-qualification or qualification requirements. These projects are not in the interest of the Namibian construction sector as they undermine the optimal performance of the industry, the CIF and MANU maintain. Let's take a look at our financial indicators. The Namibian dollar trades against the British pound at 22.92, against the euro at 19.91, against the US dollar at 18.82. 2 Namibian dollars and 58 cents gets you 1 Chinese yuan. On the commodities market, gold and Brent crude oil went down while copper and platinum went up. Brent crude oil trading at 0.48%, going for $93 and 42 cents per barrel. In international news, Biden warns extremist MAGA movement is a threat to democracy. We get into this shortly.
Neopaints has established a 67-year Namibian legacy, creating personalized paint solutions that blend quality and innovation for the Namibian people. We pride ourselves in being a 100% Namibian-owned company, investing in our country and our people by employing and empowering true Namibians. With every brushstroke, Neopaints commits to our quality guarantee and always delivering a coat of excellence. At Neopaints, we always stay true to our country. We are as Namibian as you.
Yesterday, that the United States faces a threat to its democracy by extremist MAGA supporters. The White House previously said Biden's remarks in Tempe, Arizona, was the fourth in a series of speeches about the threat to democracy, warning of the potential danger posed by Trump as exemplified by the January 6, 2021 attack on the U.S. Capitol. Biden's remarks also honored the legacy of the late Arizona Republican Senator John McCain, the 2008 Republican presidential nominee who died in 2018. Biden and McCain remain friends despite deep political differences. Let's take a look.
Democracy means rule of the people, not rule of monarchs, not rule of the money, not rule of the mighty. Regardless of party, that means respecting free and fair elections, accepting the outcome, win or lose. It means you can't love your country only when you win. Democracy means rejecting and repudiating political violence. Regardless of party, such violence is never, never, never acceptable in America. It's undemocratic, and it must never be normalized to advance political power. I've spoken about the danger of election denialism, political violence, and the battle for the soul of America. Today in America, to honor an institution devoted to the defense of democracy, named in honor of a true patriot, I'm here to speak about another threat to our democracy that we all too often ignore. The threat to our political institutions, to our Constitution itself, and the very character of our nation. Democracy is maintained by adhering to the Constitution and the march toward perfecting our union by protecting and expanding rights with each successive generation, including that little guy. He's going to talk about it. And it's okay. In my house, kids prevail, okay? And there's something dangerous happening in America now. There's an extremist movement that does not share the basic beliefs in our democracy. The MAGA movement. Not every Republican, not even a majority of Republicans adhere to the MAGA extremist ideology. I know because I've been able to work with Republicans my whole career. But there's no question that today's Republican Party is driven and intimidated by MAGA Republican extremists. Their extreme agenda, if carried out, would fundamentally alter the institutions of American democracy as we know it. My friends, they're not hiding their attacks. They're openly promoting them, attacking the free press as the enemy of the people, attacking the rule of law as an impediment, fomenting voter suppression and election subversion. Did you ever think we'd be having debates at your stage of your careers where banning books and burying history? Extremists in Congress more determined to shut down the government, to burn the place down, than to let the people's business be done.
Now, the International Paralympic Committee will decide today whether Russian and Belarusian athletes will take part in the Paris 2024 Paralympic Games. The IPC will pick one of the three options when discussing the topic at its General Assembly in Manama, Bahrain. They can vote to ban Russia and Belarus from the Games, allow them to compete as neutrals with no flag or anthem, or let them take part without any restrictions. The IPC had last year suspended the Paralympic Committee of both countries and banned their athletes from competing following the Russian invasion of Ukraine in 2022. Let's take a look.
French government is aware of that. We may have two different approaches when it comes to Russian-Belarus participation at both the Olympics and the Paralympics. I want the membership to take that decision. That's why we are bringing that decision to the General Assembly, which is the highest decision-making body of our organization. So, the difference now is that we are providing a third option, which is because we will have three options now on the table, which will be full suspension, partial suspension with neutrals, and no suspension. So because whatever decision we take or the membership take will have an effect on Paris 2024. So we have to have those options on the table, which is different from the decision that was taken in last November, which was then overturned by the appeals panel.
That concludes our international news. Let's head over to the weather predictions for tomorrow. Getting into our weather predictions for tomorrow. Katima Mulilo can expect sunny weather with a minimum of 20 degrees Celsius and a maximum of 39 degrees Celsius. Oshakati can also expect sunny weather with a minimum of 17 degrees Celsius and a maximum of 37 degrees Celsius. Handys Bay can expect a minimum of 12 degrees Celsius and a maximum of 19 degrees Celsius, while Rehoboth can expect sunny weather with a minimum of 16 degrees Celsius and a maximum of 33 degrees Celsius. Now, after this short break, we'll get into your sporting news. Do stay tuned.
We are so excited to be kickstarting your morning with entertainment.
Everything was happening during this past weekend.
Yes.
Exciting news.
Wow, no, she was killing it already.
In my opinion, I don't see anything wrong with him serving the full term.
As well as keeping you informed on the issues that you need to know happening in and around our country.
We will now head over to the sports desk, proudly brought to you by Sports Rep.
Good day, everyone. Time for Sports Rep International Sport Rugby World Cup 2023 continuing still here in Lyon. Big game in Lyon coming up this evening, and that will be Italy playing against New Zealand. But first, let's look at what happened last night, and it was a massive game for Japan in the attempts to qualify for the quarterfinals, and they kept it alive by beating Samoa by 28 points to 22. It was helped by Ben Lam of Samoa getting a red card, but it was still a good, impressive performance by Japan, and they still need to play against Argentina. The winner of that game will likely go through with England. With Japan winning, it is England that qualified, so they're already now through to the quarterfinals. Great achievement from them. But let's hear from the coach of Japan, that is Jamie Joseph. Let's get his thoughts on the game. Japan beating Samoa.
Today was a test match that we had to win to earn the right to make the quarterfinals, and that's what we've done today. For me, the game itself was a real arm wrestle. You know, we had the Samoan rugby players and the rugby team are very big and physical and really took it to us up front, and it was difficult for us. And we play a different brand of rugby. The red card happened, there was 2 yellow cards, a red card. I think the teams are very even. We had a red card in the game in Sapporo and we lost that test match tight, and they had a red card today and they lost that test match. There's nothing in it.
That was Jamie Joseph, the coach of Japan. Big game coming up for Japan later in the tournament next week, in fact, on the 7th. And it is going to be Japan that plays against Argentina. And the winner will likely go through to the quarterfinals. More news from Rugby World Cup. Firstly, it's from Ireland, and news from Jack Cohen. He's the 8th man. He's been in the news quite a bit. We've been talking about him week on week. He's been injured since the 5th of August. It was a friendly game against Italy that he hurt his foot. But indications are now that he will be available to play against Scotland. That is this next weekend coming up, and that's the last round-robin game for Scotland and Ireland. And it's been training with the team, so it seems like he recovered from a foot injury. News related to Argentina is that they made 11 changes, and that is for their game against Chile. It's historic. It's the first time ever that Argentina will play against Chile. Then also New Zealand play tonight. They play against Italy, and it's an important game for New Zealand and Italy. But let's hear from one of the supporters from New Zealand. He gave his thoughts on the game tonight. So here's a New Zealand supporter. Nice to meet you here in Lyon. It's a big game, New Zealand-Italy.
Yes.
And just your thoughts on the game.
Thoughts on the game tonight, a big close one, closer than most think. I think as long as we can keep the referee out of the game, Matthew Carley, we should have a good chance. Forwards will play a big part tonight, and set pieces. I think if we can get those down, we should get away with the win. But it won't be an easy game at all. Yeah.
You're talking about the forwards, Sam Whitelock, maybe just a thoughts on him. If he comes off the reserve bank, it will be 149 own record then, most capped ever. He's a big player.
Yeah, it'll be important if he comes out and plays. It'll be good strength for our lineouts. That's something that we've been lacking in, I think, and also winning the ball in the rucks as well, getting his body over, and clean outs as well. Yeah. So if we can get him on the park early, it'll be good for us, I think.
Yeah. That's a New Zealand supporter, very positive about tonight's game. It is New Zealand, the All Blacks playing against Italy, a massive game for both of them. That game being played in Lyon, kickoff time 9 p.m, Namibia and Lyon time. Also, just make a note, on Sunday, big game 9 p.m. also, it is South Africa, the Springboks playing against Tonga. Ari Hougaard for Sportsrack in Lyon.
Let's get into the news highlights from today's broadcast. Now, a group of fishermen has dragged to court Icelandic fishing company Asia Investment, owned by Icelandic company Semherji, its director Egil Helgi Arnason, and Arctic Nam Fishing for failing to pay their arbitral award of $1.8 million. As part of the MTC Tech Innovation Bazaar 2023, the United Nations Development Programme Namibia Accelerator Lab has launched an innovative challenge with a special focus on data-driven approaches. Japan took a big step towards reaching the quarterfinals for the second successive World Cup with a 28-22 win over Samoa on Thursday, sending England through to the knockout stage as Pool D winners in the process. And with that, we've come to the end of the broadcast. Make sure you join Sunset News on Facebook, on all the NMH platforms on weekdays, as well as on our website, 1up2.com. Sunset News screens on DSTV channel 285 and GoTV channel 25 every weekday and Sundays from 7:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. I am Glenn Rashipura, and this has been Sunset News. Don't end your day without us.